Going veggie, even just once or twice a week, can apparently be beneficial for your health and your wallet as well. Helen Jackson is here with some tasty ideas, and we're doing a potato and cheese pie.
We are doing a potato and
vegetarian?
cheese. Yeah, it is vegetarian, and it's one of those things that you can have completely on its own. And dare I say it, just after you've said about going veggie, I was going to say you could actually have it alongside a big beef casserole, but it's delicious on its... No, it's delicious on its own as a freestanding pie. Just serve it with a salad. Take it on a picnic when the weather warms up. Not at the moment. You won't be picnicking, will you?
No, you won't. Not after the weekend. Most of the country's had.
I know.
Really nasty.
Actually, my parents rang me last night. They got stuck. They're on the west coast, and they got stuck somewhere.
Really
and
there
were 100 slips between Murchison and Hokitika. So yes, they didn't think they were getting home, but they did get home. Okay, I've just popped some savoury short pastry into a cake tin, and I've greased it. And as you can see, I'm not really flash when I put pastry into things because this is quite a rustic pie. There's some things where flashness is needed, where care is needed, and other things where you can just pop them in and you're absolutely fine to keep going. So we'll just put some edges around there. And the lovely thing about this is it does come out looking, sitting and behaving just like a cake. So you can slice it into wedges very easily. It's not going to collapse on you because it hasn't got an ooey gooey filling. It's got quite a firm filling.
Do you use the fact that this is, you know, one of the springformy things? Is that how you get it out?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Absolutely. Okay, so that is there, lined, ready to go. Potatoes, I've got floury potatoes and I've got Agria potatoes, and all I've done is cooked them and put them in with cold water first. Never put potatoes into hot water. You know that, don't you?
Oh, I didn't know that, but I do now.
They don't cook.
Oh,
because what happens is it starts to seal on the outside, and then the inside just almost never cooks.
Is that right?
So that's why you put them into cold water and heat them up. So they've had 5 minutes boiling, and I've cooked off some onion because there's nothing worse than getting crunchy raw onion unless you really like it.
No, this is the perfect time for pies, is it not?
It is. It's pie season. There's New Zealand Pie Awards coming up in the next few weeks.
You got pies all over your website. What's your website?
Foodlovers.co.nz. We've got pies galore, pie features, pie recipes, pie giveaways. There's heaps. Right here, I've got 250 grams of creme fraiche, but actually, I've cheated. I've got sour cream because I forgot creme fraiche at the supermarket, had sour cream in the fridge, and thought that's going to do. But the reason that you use creme fraiche generally as opposed to sour cream is that it doesn't split when it heats. So creme fraiche will hold together much better than sour cream.
Will this split a little?
No, it won't in this because it's getting mixed in with the cheese and things. But you will get creme fraiche is generally just that little bit easier to work with.
Scrumptious too.
So it is scrumptious. So I'm mixing that in here with 250 grams of the creme fraiche, being 1 cup, mixed in here with 2 cups of grated tasty cheese, which is 200 grams of cheese because 100 grams grates to 1 cup.
Oh, okay.
So, mixing that together.
Did you survive the school holidays all right? Sometimes it is that, isn't it, survival?
You know how you really want to be that really nice, perfect mother who, you know, adores their children, which I do, and you do all these nice things with your children, and you would never, ever do anything awful to your children. Well, yesterday in the supermarket, last day of school holidays, wet weekend, husband who's away on business, I kid you not, I could completely understand why someone could just... And I got my children... I had a very bad moment that went on for quite a few moments. And I said to my 7-year-old, if you behave like this for 1 more second, you are going to be sitting with your back to everybody in the middle of the supermarket. And I thought, you know... People who are on their own with kids, it's a really big job, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I take my hat off to people who do it. Now, I'm just going to slice these potatoes. As you can see, they're cooked on the outside, not on the inside. Because
is this what you want?
Yeah, they've got a good 45 minutes in the oven.
Right.
So are you rolling
I'm just
something
playing with
between
a little bit of extra
hands?
dough. I quite like it. I've always been a fan of Play-Doh or anything like this that I can play with.
Yeah, me too. Very tactile.
Do you know, once my sister... Do you remember Silly Putty?
Yes, loved it.
Back in the 70s. My sister slept with her Silly Putty and it went into her hair and she had to have the whole lot cut out.
So it ended up with really short hair that she didn't want?
Yeah.
Okay, still slicing a few more potatoes. There's a kilo of potatoes going into here. Another really lovely vegetarian option, which is on one of our recipes on Food Lovers, is doing a Greek cheese pie, where you do cheeses. Yeah, and ricotta and parmesan. Mix it, bind it with 1 egg, and then put mint in it as well. Chopped mint. Mint and cheese is beautiful together.
Because we can all be a bit guilty of just doing the same old pie, the one that we know how to make, the old mince and cheese.
But there's nothing wrong with mince and cheese pie. It's delicious. Okay, so potatoes going in here across the bottom.
You could use kumara.
Yeah.
Could use all sorts of root vegetables in there, couldn't you?
Yes, absolutely. So we're putting potato in here. We're going to put some onion on top. Hey, Enid Blyton, I heard you talking about Enid Blyton before.
Yeah.
I loved Enid Blyton books as a child.
What was your fave?
My favourite at one stage were the Faraway Tree ones.
Oh,
so the
my
Enchanted
absolute
Wood,
favourite.
Moonface, Silky, all of those.
Going up the tree to the
Cheese
different
mixture
lands.
going on top, so we're just layering. Yes, and then I went on to the Famous Five, and I've actually tried recently to reread them to my children.
Yeah.
And I got to the first page of Kids Called Dick and Fanny, and my children just immediately started to laugh. Was that Famous Five or Enchanted Wood?
No, Dick and Fanny. No, Fanny was in the Enchanted Wood, I think,
Okay,
but Dick's
and
in the
Dick's
Famous
in
Five.
Famous Five.
Yeah. Do you
And-
know what? They have redone the Famous Five in modern times, and they've changed all their names. Not the same.
No,
yeah,
that is a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, he's called Rick
Okay.
instead of Dick.
No, well, that is getting rather silly, isn't it? I think after the first few pages, my kids did get used to it. But the other thing I found I did change, and that's just because I wanted to, was the roles, the gender roles. Because there were things like the boys had
Very
to go
old-fashioned.
and the girls had to help mum and the boys had to mow the lawns.
Yeah.
And so I kind of did...
you make your own story on the side.
Yeah, I just make my own story and say, oh, the girls were out there mowing the lawns and doing whatever. And just to make it just a little bit more... you know what I think kids should be thinking?
She is a legend, though, Enid.
She is.
She stands
She is
the test of
an
time.
absolute legend.
And that's the thing, the fact that kids are still loving her and reading her.
Yeah.
You know, gosh, I don't know how many years later.
Right.
It speaks volumes.
As you can see,
So you go
it
layer
does.
over layer over layer.
Layer over layer over layer. So as you can see, it's really simple.
Yeah.
Like, it's really, really simple.
is.
We've managed to have a good chat and make a pie all at the same time. So we'll just spread that out a little
put
bit.
a top on it?
Yes, we are. I've got the savoury short pastry here that we're going to put on top. And savoury short, as opposed to puff, you'll get a much firmer pastry. You'll get something that holds, something that you can cut easily. And it's a deep pie. Whew. That is going to sit and it is a great picnic pie. I know we're not really thinking picnics at the moment, but it's good to pull out for lunch, put it on the table as part of a shared meal.
Would it freeze?
Would it freeze? I kind of think your potato might go a bit,
Okay.
watery and
So
not
maybe
quite
not.
so beautiful.
Right.
Okay, so we're just going to seal the edges with that. And
Do you
then-
make, when my husband makes pies, he makes beautiful decorations for the children, like leaves and things on the top. No,
He's obviously
don't
got
remember
a lot of
that.
time.
Okay, this is what
Okay.
you need for your potato pie. Some cheese, pastry, potatoes, chives, onions, creme fraiche, or what you've got, sour cream if you have that instead, egg, olive oil, and some salt and pepper, just the egg to brush over the top.
Yes, brush over
eh?
the top. And the thing is, if you use concentrated egg yolk, you get a really, really shiny brown glaze. If you water it down or use the whole egg, you'll get a less shiny
Okay,
glaze.
cool. And can you use milk as well if you didn't have the extra eggs?
You can, and if you've got someone who's egg allergic, obviously use milk. Egg
Brilliant.
does give the best glaze, though.
Superstar, thank you. Helen is back after 10 with a chocolate saucy bread pudding. Yum! Now, what are people saying on Facebook today, Mr. Matt?